Howdy folks, welcome to another session of painting. I'm Dan, joined again by Maddie. Good morning.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, everyone.
So this week we're going to continue on the sort of Interceptor path. I've managed during the week to get through the next set of models, so we'll paint some of the Calistonian Empire fighters and we'll stack them up against the Terran Commonwealth and see what they look like. I think they're pretty good. Remains to be seen whether the rest of the world will accept them. They're certainly significantly better than the last iteration, that's for sure.
Good afternoon, Ross.
Good afternoon.
Hey Ross, how you going?
How's it going?
Oh, it's going?
I did hear back from the manufacturer overnight.
Yes.
And they said that they would, I didn't tell them how many you were having trouble with, but they said they would take care of it.
Right.
So pack them up and we'll send them off. The other deadline we're operating under is that the 1st through the 7th of October is a national holiday and everything shuts down.
In China?
Yep.
A week national holiday. I think somebody should inform the Australian and the US governments of this thing.
I agree. I think there's like 2 weeks off around Lunar New Year also. So.
Yeah.
But I think they work Saturdays, so take your pick.
I work 7 days a week at the moment, Ross.
Yeah, well. But I just wanted to hop on and let you know that.
Yeah.
And
no, that's.
we can get them.
Yeah, that's great. I'll ship them the step files that I've got, plus the 3 STLs for the ones I haven't.
Yeah, we'll get them to them there Monday morning, and hopefully they'll evaluate them before they all take off at the end of the week.
Yeah. Well, sounds good. So I'll get an archive together and I'll let you know where it is.
Okay.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Well, I'm on the road and talking from my phone, but I figured you would appreciate that.
I certainly do. I fought with it for another 3 hours yesterday and got absolutely nowhere. So it was a little bit on the frustrating side.
Well, hopefully that will be taken care of.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Meanwhile, back to your regular scheduled program.
Morning,
Sound
James.
of frustration completed. Hey, how's it going, team?
Good, thanks. So yeah,
Are you driving, Ross, or are you flying?
What was that?
Are you driving or flying? I'm going to guess that you aren't flying.
Safe guess. No, this is. Let's see. Since I don't have any phone calls to do this evening, today's sort of a relaxing day, so the wife and I are out making the rounds, shall we say.
Fantastic. Downtime is very important.
And enjoying the, we've got mid-80s today, so probably our last real warm days of the summer.
Did you say mid-80s? Oof.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
But the rain starts at the end of the weekend, and it might not stop until March, April. Never know.
For those who are listening, this is the power of the west coast of America. And the further north you go, the closer you get to Seattle, you get the Seattle Rain Festival, January 1 to December 31.
It's not quite that bad, but some things we encourage people to believe, shall we say, just keep them away.
Oh, was that it? Okay. All I can say is from harsh experience, it seemed relatively true, but who knows?
I think you're exaggerating, James. I think it's only December 25.
Oh, okay, yeah, 6 days off for good behaviour or something. I don't know. I drove I did the West Coast drive from actually literally San Diego all the way up to Seattle, and it's a fantastic trip. It's absolutely amazing. So highly recommended.
Fresh wiper blades go in at San Diego.
Pretty much. We did get pulled over by the cops coming out of California. That was a little interesting because we didn't realise that they carried guns. Right. So we did all the wrong things. He flashed his lights to say, basically politely saying, "You're over the speed limit. You should slow down." We had no idea who this guy was. And the next thing it was like, flashing lights behind us. So we pulled over. And we did everything wrong. We just got out of the car, which is,
that's a no-no in the US.
Yeah, so there was that. But the guy was actually really nice. I've actually got some photos stashed away somewhere of him throwing my work colleague over the bonnet of the car and pretending to beat him with his baton and stuff like that. It's pretty. Once you realise that we were obviously
from around here.
Aliens.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is like going quite a way back. So this is like pre September 11. So prior to all the extra stuff that kind of came about. But yeah, good times. But definitely driving through Oregon and stopping to see the sequoias, the redwoods is something else.
Yep.
Beautiful area.
Well, one day, I hope.
There you go. Drag you over kicking and screaming, Dan.
I lived in Mountain View for a month. Does that count? Doesn't
Where
really,
the heck
does
is
it?
that?
The Bay Area is its own little world, so it doesn't really count. No.
It's one burb north of Palo Alto.
Yeah, that whole place is just full of strange. So it is what it is. That's actually where all the aliens live.
It's less full of strange now because I came home. What I really didn't like I thoroughly enjoyed that trip because rose-tinted glasses and all of that. I mean, we worked damned hard. They were 16, 18-hour days. But the thing that I remember most about that particular trip was that the weather was exactly the same 30 days straight. It was, what was it? It was 72 degrees. Like every single day, clear blue skies. It just didn't change. I got to the end of it thinking that it literally was Groundhog Day.
And you're far enough away from San Francisco so that you don't get the fog and you don't get the coolness.
Yeah, there was nothing interesting at all. It was, wow. Anyhow, I did take some trips to San Francisco and wandered around, and I walked across the bridge and back again. So, good fun was had, despite the fact that there was an immense amount of work done. That was part of my 56-day straight gig, which would have been alright if they were normal working days, but I think I calculated.
We're not.
I think I calculated I did 90 days straight, or the equivalent thereof.
Did you fly into LA through the multiple smog zones?
No.
Do you remember that?
Went straight into. I've been down through the smog layers in LA, but that trip we went straight into San Fran. So.
Yeah, it's like the traditional hobbits, second breakfast and stuff like that. So it's the first smog layer, and now we're into the second one. Now you can actually see the city. Well, I don't know whether it's the same now. I'm going back a ways, but
yeah, I haven't been over there in years and years and years. But it was quite literally you didn't see the city until you were down through the third layer.
that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a breakthrough. It was like, wow, fantastic. And now we're flying over everything.
It
But
was,
yeah.
in our case, it was shit. Are we landing on that freeway? Oh,
Oh, you guys.
You know, we're just jaded.
Yeah, no, it's not that bad now.
it's cleared up, has it?
But it was. There's no question it was that way, especially if there was smoke blowing up, offshore instead of getting an onshore breeze.
Yeah. Hey, James, have you flown into Wellington?
I have flown into Wellington on numerous occasions. Why do you want to hear some of the horror stories while you're painting?
Oh no! It's such a hair-raising experience.
I've landed sideways in Wellington. That's probably the worst. It was a smaller plane,
Yeah.
and it was an especially windy day as opposed to just a normal windy day, and the pilot literally touched the plane down. It hit the tarmac. It turned roughly 90 degrees, and I'm not exaggerating. And it skipped probably 2 or 3 skips,
Yeah.
and then he managed to point the plane in the right direction again. It was quite exciting.
Yeah. That was hair-raising. I don't know if you've ever seen this, Ross, but when you're flying into Wellington, you're flying down a channel, basically, and you look out the side of the aircraft and you're looking up at the top of the sports stadium, which is a couple of 100 meters away. So it's amusing.
I've seen the inlet, and I've seen an acrobatic team show off for an air show, filmed from my brother-in-law's place. I have seen my brother-in-law get off the plane in Wellington, and up, 10 people ahead of him was a big hairy guy, very recognizable, exiting the plane. So that's the closest he's come to Lord of the Rings, shall we say.
Right.
And unfortunately, my trip to Auckland lasted about 8 hours. So that's my experience with New Zealand.
Yeah, right. Well, I've sat in Auckland Airport for probably a combined period of about 8 hours, but I've never been to Auckland. That was always transfers on the way home from the US.
Perversely, and bringing this back onto the FASA topic, the one that actually almost killed us was 2005 when we did Origins for the first time, and we were flying in from Massachusetts to Columbus, and I'm not sure whether Josh remembers this or not, but actually I'm not sure whether no Josh was on the plane, I'm pretty sure. I know Dammy was basically sitting next to me because it was pretty horrific for him. Smaller Delta flight, and we were passing through some cloud cover, and the cloud had plugs. And I thought, that's going to be interesting because there's a lot of thermals basically going there. And just as we came in to land at Columbus, a storm basically ripped through the runway, and literally this is the point of landing. The pilot basically did what he needed to do, which is pull the plane almost vertically up and get it out as quickly as possible. There were people screaming and yelling and luggage falling out of compartments and so on and so forth. And Dammy was turning a shade of green that really wasn't suiting him. And it was pretty exciting stuff. And the first thought that went through my mind was, oh, this is just like flying into Wellington. And he circled around, the squall had gone through, and we landed safely, and that was basically it. But yeah, kudos to the pilot, he was pretty good.
Those thunderstorms, those squall lines with the downdrafts, planes have smacked into the ground. As a result of those here in the Midwest.
I hadn't experienced or seen it before, Ross, but I kind of recognised it from hang gliding days. You sort of go and check the weather ahead of time, and those plugs they were honestly huge and fairly scary looking. So, but anyway,
Yeah, but we keep getting back on this big metal monsters to get where we need to go.
That's it.
Yeah, needs do what needs must. What are you painting today, Dan? It's a very blue.
It is. This is a Calistonian Empire heavy fighter.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent.
I was just going to say I've had a hand at a landing like that at Melbourne, but it was in a 787, I think, something like that. He bounced it 3 times on the runway to get it down because we were going through squall. So yeah, it was 350 people on that thing who were somewhat concerned, shall we say.
It was heavy enough to affect it. That's pretty serious.
Yeah, it was a big thunderstorm. It was a pretty big plane, and we bounced 3 times. So
you guys have weather in Australia, or is that one of those things?
Come on.
No,
You get
right?
Oh yeah. Sorry about the earthquake, Dan. Apparently that was caused by New Zealand. So, just wanted to apologise on behalf of my home country.
What has New Zealand got to do with Mansfield?
Well, apparently the tectonic plates are coming from that underwater continent, and there was a bunch of shifting. So apparently this is one of those occasions where yet again New Zealand, won out over Australia, and we did it by basically moving our tectonic plates a little further over yours and pushed you a little further north. So sorry about that.
No, that's okay. All of Australia wants to go north. Something to do with the weather, isn't it, Matty?
It's gorgeous here today.
Oh, Matty, I should have apologised to you too. Sorry, mate. Didn't mean
Quite all right.
to leave you out of the loop.
Don't mind me at all.
Guys, I'm on the move again, so I shall say so long and talk to you all later.
Great news this morning, Ross. Thank you very much. I shall get that stuff to you in due course.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys later.
See ya.
Regards to the family. Take care.
Clee's here too.
Good morning. All right. How are you? Did the day off suit you? No? Oh dear. School holidays, yeah? Oh boy. No.
So this is not a voluntary scenario. This is a forced on you thing.
Yeah, there is no voluntary scenario where I have children, let alone extra people staying.
Yeah, I kind of feel that actually, having grown up children that I'm trying to get out of my house, but that's a whole different scenario. That's a voluntary thing. But I feel your pain.
I'd offer to swap you for a 11-week-old puppy. I had a couple of children here yesterday alongside said 11-week-old puppy, and I have to say I'd still prefer the dog.
Gee, the level of energy there would have been, something else.
Yes.
Well, you can just put it in a box and send it over, Dan. I'm quite happy to look after your puppy for you until it's old enough to send back.
Yeah, I think someone else in the house would probably have something to say about that.
What's the breed again? Your
Border Collie.
Oh, that's right. I remember the Border Collie. Yeah, perfect. Fantastic.
Are we literally talking about sending a dog off to live on the farm?
Yeah, we are. I'm just thinking, regardless of whether it's a he or a she, it'll be kind of perfect.
Well, it's a she.
We'll just get her out then with the sheep, and if you can, do that in the next couple of months, it'll be great, because we've got baby lambs coming, so give us some time to settle in, and
She's still learning how to round up the 9.5-year-old lab.
Who gives 0 Fs, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love Labradors. Labradors are my favourite. I have a Labrador, so I'm biased, but
He's well and truly in the get off my fucking lawn stage of life.
but none of this is helping the teenager staying in the office scenario, or for our guest who's watching us on Twitch and thinking, what the heck is this weird banter? This is just kind of what happens on these videos. Dan paints.
Sometimes he even paints something reasonably well.
He usually paints pretty well and posts the results up, and in the meantime we just fill in the gaps with mindless blah. So
How long have you got him, Clee? A week?
It's a her, hopefully only for today.
Oh, it's a her. So it's not who I thought it was.
It's not my family, not my son.
Oh, okay.
Not even related to me, mate.
Did you lose another bet?
I was wondering what I'd done to be punished, but
Mm.
I haven't done anything bad. I've paid for a holiday, I've done all these family-orientated things, and suddenly I get shit lumped. Oh, must be part of being a family, I guess.
Well, this is why I'm still happily single.
Yeah.
we can fix that for you, Maddie. Come over here and you have the dangerous Australian accent.
The Duchess of James the Matchmaker. Oh, good.
Oh,
One day I'll tell you about my crazy American girlfriend.
Okay. maybe not while it's being recorded live on Twitch TV, but yeah, sure.
Or maybe exactly that time.
Anytime you need to compare notes, Maddie, I'm here. I'm here, totally here for you, mate. It's all good.
Well, let me
Feeling weird? I can't help you with teenagers. Sorry. Oh, you ship them over to America here. It'll be fine. Sorry, Maddie. Cut you off there rudely.
Oh, that's right. I'll just tell you how that relationship ended. It ended with me being invited to her wedding. To a different bloke. That I knew nothing about. After 6 years of going out. Yep.
I have a comparable story, but again, I'm not going to relay that on Twitch. But yeah. Probably kind of actually on the reverse side of things. But yeah. But you've moved on, right?
Oh yeah, well and truly. That very day.
I get my left testicle to be invited to all my ex-girlfriend's weddings because I could just turn it down and be a free man.
Just turn up for
The
free.
problem is that this one wasn't my ex at the time.
So you were still in the friend space. Well, there you go.
No! I mean, she'd been leading me on up until that point.
Right. I got bailed to my ex-girlfriend's house with a new boyfriend living in it that I didn't even know about. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, my girlfriend broke up with me on the evening of the day that her fiance was basically turning up from America, and they were getting married. That was an interesting one.
Well, there you go. That's the same thing.
You guys are all so much more interesting than I am.
Just life. We can't paint as well as you, Dan. And for those who are watching and listening, Dan is an excellent painter, even though he doesn't think he is.
No.
Absolutely true.
No.
So this is all part of the Antipodean takeover of FasaGames Inc. So how's that looking?
One model at a time.
There you go.
Or in yesterday's case, it was one model that just didn't want to play. Good grief.
It didn't print? Didn't.
Well, I mean, you can see they all print rather nicely. You know, they're all pretty good. But when you try and take them from a stereolithic file into some kind of CAD file, because the people at the other end want to use their expensive CNC machines to make molds and stuff like that, and your conversion process crashes time after time after time after time and doesn't tell you why it's crashing, and you've got to guess, and you've got to alter geometry and see if your altered geometry magically makes it pass, and you do this for 3.5 or 4 hours and get absolutely nowhere and end up with a model that's nowhere near as good as the one that you started with, and you're just left scratching your head. That was the point. I went for a 2-hour walk.
So it's not like your software produces, reasonable log files that you can actually change the debug level on?
It doesn't do anything like that. It just crashes. And when I say crashes, it just hangs. So you've got to kill it.
Oh, okay. So you don't even have... okay. Joy.
And it's free software, so you get what you pay for.
Windows or Linux?
Windows.
Okay. No judgment.
I've got 4 Linux boxes within arm's reach. I love them, but there's a distinct lack of quality software for some of the stuff that I do available on
Yeah, I
it.
mean, Linux, you can basically do a dump, and at least you can, maybe fathom something out of that, but...
I certainly felt like going and taking a dump after all of that, that's for sure.
I'm sure the 11-year-old puppy's been doing plenty of those for you, so...
Yeah,
11-month-old, sorry.
11-week-old. I wouldn't certainly...
11-week-old, jeez. Okay, sorry.
I wouldn't put those in the category of dump, though. You know what I mean?
What, a smoosh or a
No,
surprise?
It's the equivalent of I want to say tinkle, but that has other connotations. It's just there's nothing like when the lab goes. That's a dump. Like,
Yeah, I've heard of those as lab bombs.
yeah.
They're always exciting when you go out mowing or just walking generally, but even on a large property, it's just scary. But
Yeah, we used to call them Barker's eggs.
But I own pigs, so everything else is just the scale is just. And now everybody, we've apparently turned the Twitch session into a scat session. So apologies. This is not intended to be an R18 experience.
Jazz is a thing.
Speaking of scat, that was an interesting time that I had. We used to look after the offensive words filter at work. This is back in the good old primitive days of software where you had to actually, look at people's browsing histories and come up with stuff that was questionable and manually update the filters for corporate software to remove the capability of looking at certain things. And I got called into the office by my manager, and she says, I'm not sure about this particular word, whether we should be adding this to the corporate filter, internet filter. And I said, what word is that? And she said, well, scat. She had no idea what that was in the context.
Right.
And rule, so that was an interesting conversation to have with your manager. So that word did get added to the filter. I should put in there, and I don't recommend people look that up. So, but in the context of animals, yeah, it's a natural thing. So,
But what if you like?
Sorry, what if I like what, Matty? Last word was chopped up.
Jazz.
Oh yeah, exactly right.
jazz.
Yes. There's plenty of
I guess, yeah.
plenty of scat and jazz.
Yeah, I guess it probably is.
In both forms, if you ask me. But, you know, it's just because it's not my preference.
So I wonder then if someone was actually maybe possibly not actually looking up horribleness on the internet, but maybe was looking up jazz
What's the
and
difference?
maybe inadvertently. Well, one is horrible, and the other one is, in my opinion, but I'm not judging. But and the other one is something that you makes you want to look up because it's a musical form. So
I was gonna say one of them's horrible and just shouldn't be searched at all, and the other one's a natural body function.
Oh, Dan. How long have you been on the internet for?
I was around when the internet didn't exist, so theoretically, all the times.
You young things, you. Anyway, back to the teenager problem. So, how long is this going to exist? This
Didn't you say
situation?
hopefully only today?
Oh, just 24 hours?
Yeah, I've been here a couple of days, but hopefully it finishes today.
Just in time for the... Well, you guys are in the future, so I guess at least you get your Sunday back, or...
Yeah, Sunday and Monday is a public holiday. Not a public holiday, it's a day off for us.
Nice.
Enforced leave day, would you believe?
Enforced leave?
Mm-hmm. Shutdown. Office shutdown.
Oh, due to the Delta crisis.
Well, no, it was actually supposed to be a health and well-being thing that the well-meaning types put together some months ago, so that people could go out and enjoy the sort of the spring atmosphere and have an extended sort of grand final weekend and all that kind of stuff.
Touchy-feely day, yeah.
And what they didn't realise, or their crystal balls were broken or whatever, that we were going to be in the longest lockdown in the history of mankind. Still. So they actually rescinded it last week and said, if you don't, because you can't go anywhere, if you don't want to take the leave, you don't have to. But, I don't know, Clea and I looked at each other and went, bugger this, 4-day weekend. Didn't we?
Yep.
Isn't that how that conversation went?
Pretty much. Don't tell me twice to take a day off. Even if I have to pay for it.
So it was like implicit approval for a day off, regardless of how it works out.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Love it. Over here in America, you're lucky to get like a week off every year, so you know how. It just is what it is. Different work environment.
Yep.
Maddie's being very quiet. Too quiet.
Don't mind me, I'm polishing my boots.
That isn't a euphemism either, by the way. I've checked. He is actually polishing boots.
Is this an ex-military thing? Some kind of carryover?
Ex-private schoolboy thing.
I'm not sure if that's better or worse.
It's about the same, really.
Yeah, I did private school as well, but I don't have that particular carryover.
My high school had a new principal, a new broom. My first year there, and he was a real stickler on the shoe shine, so every classroom got a shoe shine box, and etc.
It's not a bad thing, to be fair, actually, thinking about it.
I quite enjoy it, actually. I like polishing my boots.
Plus, your shoes are shoes will be going to get much more use out of them, much more wear. So, anyway.
My boots had a shocking week. Absolutely shocking. They're filthy. I did them during last Saturday's stream as well, and they're unrecognizable this morning.
I had a good one yesterday. I went out to feed the pigs, as you do when you own pigs, and just for anyone who is bothering listening to this, my pigs are like well and truly over 350 pounds each now. So went into the necessaries to do the bits and pieces. And it's been raining over here quite a bit, and went over the fence to basically put the feed in for the second one, and found that the mud hole that they had dug was a little deeper than I thought, and went backwards and impaled myself on the fence, which was a new experience.
Ouch.
Fortunately, had a coat on, because again, raining, all that kind of stuff, so didn't actually end up puncturing anything. But yeah, but my back to the boot relationship. My boots were, needless to say, shocking. So,
But did you leave them in the mud hole? Like, did they come off?
they're your typical gum boots, so they made the usual kind of, we want to stay here and you can go type motions.
Bid for
But
freedom.
I managed to haul them out. Yeah. The biggest challenge was that there was a 350-pound pig trying to load up on me to get her food, so that was kind of a thing. So you can throw that image in. It's like impaled on a fence, back up on a fence, impaled on it with a 350-pound pig trying to go, gimme my breakfast, while your boots are basically stuck in a mud hole. That was a thing. So yeah, so Matty, I wish you're over here, mate. My boots definitely needed a cleaning after that, but I just used a hose, so it's all good.
That's probably fair. You know what it sounds like you're living to me? Footrot Flats. You're living Footrot Flats.
Yeah. We've only got one dog, and she's a she, but yeah, it is kind of a bit like that sometimes. That's actually a fair analogy.
With a cat named Horse.
Oh yes, Horse the cat. Just means I need to revisit the fence situation and put a decent gate in so I can get in and out easier. But knowing my pigs, I'm probably to put a frickin' airlock in. It'll be like Aliens, just except the xenomorphs are going to be pigs. It's just like, and you need a motion tracker because they hide, and you can't see them because they're coloured the same as the mud holes that they basically live in. And I'm not exaggerating. You can sit out there with a pair of binoculars and try and find these things on a reasonably hot day, and you can't. It's like a mud-scarred World War I landscape with pigs. And you go, oh, it looks pretty safe to go in. There's obviously nothing there. And you go wandering in. The next thing is like 350-pound plus of pigs hurtling across the landscape towards you. Exciting. And then you wonder, why the hell am I doing this? But anyway, bacon. The things we do for bacon. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
if you're a vegetarian, I do apologise. But anywho, I'll let you carry on painting. It's looking good.
How's your farm going, Clay?
You work full time, don't you remember?
You actually have a farm, Clay, or you?
2 acres.
Nice. 1 hectare to the metrically
Not
inclined.
quite.
So yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Almost
not
a
quite.
hectare, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
890
close.
square meters or something like that. 8,900, I should say. Yeah, it's nice. I've got a colony of bats, fruit bats, like a large colony of fruit bats.
One in your office.
Thousands. They're almost in my office. They're that close.
That's actually pretty cool. I didn't. I mean, in New Zealand we don't have, generally bats and stuff, and that's actually pretty cool. I quite like bats.
And I wish they weren't as close. They make probably half the block unusable.
Oh, seriously? What, from just guano or just
Yeah.
okay?
It's generally the guano when you walk down there and they shit all over you. Not so much the
Right.
stuff already on the ground.
Carry an umbrella.
Yeah.
Wear an anorak.
Yeah, I have a wide brim hat, but even then, I went for a walk yesterday. One shat on my hand. I can't even walk around down there. But yeah, it's nice.
Are they a protected species over there, or are they just
Yeah.
like a pest? Okay.
They are. Pretty much all Australian animals are protected, I think.
Yep. Well, we said cane toads, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't really call them Australian. I guess they are in the imports. So.
Well, they're Australian now. They've adopted the ethos of every other Australian animal. It's like, kill the humans.
I saw a baby python. Well, baby. It was only about 60 or 70 centimeters long the other night.
Yeah, cool.
So you got any livestock, Clay, or you? Apart from the bats?
Just chickens.
Chickens are good.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm sick of them too. I want to eat them now. They destroy my garden.
Yeah, I'm making chicken stock this weekend. So, from our previous flock, and our current flock are not producing eggs at the rate that they used to. So I think that they're probably not long for this world either. I think they'll probably get reduced to not chicken stock and chicken soup. So that'll be a thing.
Not ready for that. I'm sick of these ones. Yeah, I think I prefer plants over animals.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice with animals. My wife's into this, so that's her thing. But I've kind of inherited it. She was like, "Oh, I found a couple of pigs. I bought them and brought them home, and now we're going to raise them." So somehow I've kind of picked that up. And my thing was sheep, because New Zealand, blah, make as many jokes as you need to. But we've got conservancy breeds over here, which are the ones that are kind of indigenous to the Americas, I guess, and they're not commercial. They grow slower or smaller, and but they have particular traits that are quite interesting. So kind of enjoyable in that respect. But
Sheep.
yeah, sorry, sheep. Yeah, St. Croix is what we have. They're from the island of St. Croix, so the Caribbean sheep, which is kind of weird. But the hair sheep, you don't shear them. They just have a coat that grows in slightly colder weather and it just falls off. But they're naturally parasite resistant. Like, in fact, you could say unnaturally parasite resistant. Then they just hot, cold, whatever. They don't care. Not large sheep, the smaller sheep. And over here in the States, they've been used as the base for other breeds like Catardans, and actually Catardans probably the major one. Royal Whites is another new one, where they basically crossbred them with other sheep to get the parasite resistance kind of into those breeds, which is not quite as strong, but it is what it is. So
There you go. And they don't.
But they're actually. Carry on.
And they don't have wool.
No, they're hair. They're hair sheep. Over here, you get various breeds. Dorpers are a meat breed. Catardans are very, very popular. They're another breed of hair sheep. St. Croix, as I mentioned. The other ones that we're looking at are Romanovs, which are actually Russian sheep from a small part of
don't get the
Russia.
Russians, they're so dodgy.
I know, but maybe not the. But these sheep have litters of lambs. Like it's, I think the record for for a Romanov having lambs is 9 in a. And they will do that, 2 times a year.
Even so even the sheeps are oligarchs.
Yeah. Horny sheep is all I can say, without horns, because they're polled, so they don't have horns. But yeah, it just is what it is. But over here in the States, sheep is a rare thing, sheep and lamb. So it's growing actually, weirdly. Sorry?
I didn't know that they were into sheep much over there for any production.
I think all up, last stats I saw, there's about 5 million sheep in the United States. But then again, the running gag with New Zealand is like 40 million sheep, 4 million Kiwis, kind of thing. But that's actually changed a lot. New Zealand's now dairy; it's gone cattle, dairy farms and stuff all over the place. So the numbers of sheep over there are dropping hugely year after year. And to be honest, there isn't a lot of money in it. You have a lot of business with the I'm going to say the ethnic community, which is the Muslim community primarily, because lamb is a thing that's kind of used for religious purposes. So, yeah. And goats are huge over here, but goats are a pain in the ass. So, no, whole lot of nope.
I've had multiple people tell me to get goats, and I'm like, go again.
No, they're just freaking escape artists. They're just like,
Yeah, man.
I've had goats. It's just like, no.
And when they get out, they just destroy stuff,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. And sheep,
with goats is that they can be picky. So you put them in a field to eat blackberries. They may or may not eat it depending on the goat. They're quite picky as to what they will eat. They're not just eat anything, everything.
Exactly. Yep. Whereas I found that my sheep, I've been trying to get the briars and brambles here. We've got 5 acres, and so every year is just like oh dear God, here we go, trying to defeat these brambles and briars and stop them from taking over. And this year, because we finally fenced everything off and had the patches and stuff which had the briars and brambles, and the sheep were just like, oh my God, you've got briars and brambles. Why didn't you say so? I'm just going to eat all this stuff. And just because I love it. And I was just like, holy crap. Should have done this earlier. So, yeah, they are not particularly fussy.
There you go.
So, happy with that. Anyway.
You know what I saw yesterday, Glee, on my walk? A blue-tongued skink. Just popping out from underneath concrete of somebody's driveway, sunning itself. And as I got closer, it just turned around and disappeared back under the hole under their driveway. I'm like, wow, welcome to suburbia.
Well,
adapted.
Yeah. It was full size too. Like,
nice.
was missing probably the last 2 inches of its tail. I mean, it's a skink. They do that. So it would have been in the order of 10 inches or a foot long, something like that.
You're going to have to name a starfighter skink class.
Have a conversation with Todd about that. He did all the names. I can't claim genius or anything otherwise as far as the names is concerned.
You should totally name a type of ship skink class.
Right.
Yeah. What's that one they have in WA? That skink?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's a pretty ugly one, but it feels like it'd be good for a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Something that basically takes a lot of punishment, but it does it by shedding chunks of the ship that just aren't essential, or maybe are essential. Well, are useful, but not essential to the core function of the ship. Call it a skink class. takes a lot of punishment because it's designed to ablate. Maybe has a high shield ratio. I don't know.
Making me name that the IT engineer class.
Yeah.
Take a lot of punishment, eventually shit just starts to fall off.
And on that note, I'm going to go and have some dinner. So anyway, as always, it's a pleasure chatting to you all.
Thanks, James. Enjoy dinner. Chicken soup?
I will. And no, not actually Chinese tonight. Yeah. I'll look forward to the results of the painting.
So do I.
And I
Thanks.
still haven't found those miniatures yet, but I live in hope.
I don't think you've been trying terribly hard.
I actually have, but not. I do have a loft that I need to get up into, but it's a thing. I think they're in there. But
Next week.
no, probably this weekend because the weather's actually good now.
Cool.
It isn't stinking hot, so it means I can actually get up into crawl spaces and stuff that without like
Without passing out.
passing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, snap. Yeah. So, and it has been like that. We've been stupid temperatures. Ross was like mid-80s and is like, oh god, no, just a whole lot of nope. So, no. Anyways,
All right. Thanks, James.
be well. Enjoy your lockdown. Continue to enjoy your lockdown, or not enjoy your lockdown. In which case, I'm sorry on the second part. Looking forward to some sanity in Australia in the not too foreseeable future.
It's Australia. You're not going to get me of that. And I'm the only one of all of us that is locked down.
The construction workers seem to be out in force and doing the right thing, so good on them. Kudos.
Yeah. Not that this is political at all.
No,
If they keep them locked down enough, it might crash the bloody housing bubble if we're lucky.
Oh, housing bubbles. That's a whole challenging thing. We've got the Arizona audit results kind of playing. I've got those playing in the background here, so that's going to be interesting over here. Anywho, may you live in interesting times. A Chinese curse that apparently is not actually a Chinese curse. So
There you go.
it just sounds like it. Or a Men Without Hats song. Who knows? All right. Be well.
See you,
Stay
James.
Have a good
Catch
one.
you guys. Oh, Matty, looking forward to the next episode, mate.
Tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. Okay. Catch you later.
See ya.
Bye.
I'm behind. Damn it. I need to catch up.
They'll always be there for you to catch up at your leisure. That's actually the one really good thing about the podcast platform host that I'm using is that they don't purge old shows after they go inactive.
Well, it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing for me because there's just too much going on.
Yeah, man, you got way too much on your plate. Are they all your ones there?
This is the
Yeah, those ones. Yeah.
yeah. So this is all the Calistonian Empire minus the two that I made mistakes on that I need to reprint. So
That your new desired size, is it?
yeah,
Man, they're looking good.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They feel like the right size when I can see them all on that stand.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good chunky ship now. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Those ones at the front there,
yeah,
and then the next row along. It feels like they've got the right tactile sense to it.
in fact, The only one here that is, oh no, the two here that are purely my design are these two. These other ones, all these other ones are tributes to the original Renegade Legion Interceptor.
Everything's a tribute to something else.
Correct.
Despite what everyone tries to tell you, nothing is really that unique.
Oh, there's nothing new. Everybody borrows from everybody else. It's a pretty normal sort of thing. Like how do you define what a starfighter is unless you've seen something like Star Wars or Last Starfighter or Battlestar Galactica or something like that, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you take half those ships there, any starfighter is really just borrowing from our current fighters anyway.
Exactly right.
Why the fuck aren't they just discs in space if you've got no
Ooh.
need for wings or
Ooh.
anything else?
Balls. Just spheres.
Exactly. Yeah, the most efficient shape you can get.
Yeah. Yep.
We're not, because we don't want to paint balls.
That's right. They're not very interesting.
No.
An absolute frustration yesterday. I downloaded and started playing with a new piece of software. So I'm hoping to move on.
Software.
Yeah, hoping to move on
Where'd
to
you go?
organics. It's cool.
Organics, I've never heard of it.
Well, no, this thing's called 3D Coat.
3D coat.
Yeah, and it's kind of a competitor to ZBrush or ZBrush, and Maya and a few other bits and pieces.
Maya. Still
Yeah,
cracking along, is it?
yeah, still going.
Used to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, now it's only 5 kidneys. And this 3D code isn't going to be cheap, but they've all got subscription models now, so
Yeah.
you only need to give them 1 kidney at a time. But no, I meant that I want to start doing organics, like people and critters and stuff. So.
Yeah, right. Which is that all still NURBS?
No.
They've moved away from that, have they?
Well, this particular software is based around the concept of a voxel.
What?
A voxel, which is basically just a volumetric pixel. So it's a pixel in
Right, so
3D
you
space.
draw them
Yeah,
as volumetric pixels.
that's right. And it's got surface operations, so you can do surface operations and then you can recompute it back into volumetric pixels. It's pretty clever stuff.
Wow.
So, but not only can you do sculpting and everything like that, but you can do retopo and UV and all that sort
Yeah,
of
so
shit.
it's getting the pixels essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you can export your volumes to do 3D printing with them, or you can render them into scenes or whatever. So, and it's going to be a pretty steep learning curve, I have to say.
Yeah, well, look, even when I was doing this stuff years ago, it was, if you want to do organic stuff, it was all NURBS, which was a very steep learning curve anyway, you know.
Yeah.
Over just working with splines, and was it non-uniform rational B splines or something like that.
Yeah.
Even that was a really big learning curve over not just working with lines and splines and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I expect it to take months to come to grips with. So. But you have to start somewhere. And, you know, I needed a hobby. See, I've enjoyed this process of doing these fighters and everything like that, but the one criticism that's aimed at them, which is really very fair, is that there isn't a round surface on any of them. They're all very angular.
Yeah, but I mean, look, and this comes back to what I just said before about our design choices. At the end of the day, when you're in space, and we're assuming this is a predominantly space and not a hybrid system, that it just freaking doesn't matter, and you'll go for the easiest shape possible, essentially, which, if you were manufacturing, should probably be all flat surfaces.
See, we were having this argument in the Discord chat a couple of weeks ago about space stations and all that kind of stuff, and I made the remark to somebody else at the time, I can't remember who, but because they were talking about how it didn't look very cool, and I'm like, well, don't you understand about government facilities being built by the lowest bidder?
Yeah, exactly. Not like the giant dildo or something like that, a piece of art.
No, exactly right.
It's a functional piece that's got no flashing.
That's it. There's absolutely no additional money spent on it whatsoever.
Yeah. But yes, I can see why people would like some round surfaces. Having a mixture of both.
Yep.
Even if it doesn't make a difference to what's required by design.
And the software I've been using just doesn't cope with round surfaces in small scales. Just as soon as you get the subdivision below a certain amount, it absolutely cracks it. It stops sealing faces, and there's broken geometry all over the place, and it takes you hours to clean it up. I'd like to kill the guy that designed this cockpit. Goodness me. The easiest thing in the world to paint. What I really need to do is print more of them at this scale.
What's that?
I need to print more of them at this scale.
Oh, that the one at the museum scale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, wicked. I've been painting the next lot of Dim World things.
Ah, that's fantastic to hear.
Forced myself to sit down and do it.
Yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment, isn't there?
Yep. There it is. Good though. It's missing it a bit. It's hard to get the energy, you know.
But what are you doing? You can't be doing that while your office has been invaded.
No, I actually did some in the Arvo yesterday. They went out for a bit.
Yeah,
To
righto.
the beach, so I did it, and I got it kicked out of my office. So I did some this morning, which is nice. They don't take long when you get into them. I just haven't been getting into it. I've just been so tired.
Yeah, that's... Boy, I know how that goes. Scrambling to set that stuff up for Atom.
What's that? Sorry.
I've been scrambling to set that stuff up for Atom.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. I might rage quit again in my mind this morning.
Oh no. Was this because you had a conversation with Oleg?
No, it's just
Fair enough. Work in general.
yeah, work in general, not like you know, if I went and put myself in Quinton's shoes,
Mm.
he's working for I can't say the client, but a big company which you would be involved with in every second or third day of your life.
Right.
And so you know them, and he got a complaint raised against him for something which he was told to do by one of them, but you know, it's just usual client shit.
Yeah.
Go do this stuff. No, I don't want that. I want this stuff. Oh, fuck you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he could be dealing with total assholes. So at least like around like that, they treat you well. It's just really chaotic and stressful, right?
Yep.
So, you know, it's not them, it's just work. I could do with less chaos in my life though, but it's work in general. You're not going to get that perfect client. It'll just be the other one that says, I want this. No, I didn't say that. I want that, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's no such thing as a perfect client.
No, exactly.
The whole reason you're there is because they don't know what they're doing. They can't find their ass with both hands.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's no point jumping out of one thing into something else.
No, it's no different anywhere else.
Exactly. Just don't want to do it.
Yeah. Want to start a game company? We'll start a game company.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a game company. I'd like to write software where it was research, you know, it didn't have a
Deadline on it.
and a monetary value, and it was just software for the sake of exploration or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, working for corporate stuff. It's just soul destroying for any passion for software.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, like for instance, even that thing you were doing, that the unit builder.
Yep.
It'd be nice to do something like that, but you just don't have the energy.
Yeah. By the time I sat down to do any of that yesterday, I was fried.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your brain's just not capable of making any good decisions anymore. After doing it all day.
That's why I had to go for that 2-hour walk. That's because I just needed some headspace. It's like I've got the tower for the castle. You know, it's in my head. All I need to do is sit down in front of Inkscape and actually do it. Just don't have the energy capacity to do it. You know, we've got another couple of Joe's grandkids coming over today, and the noise levels are just going to get to the point where it's unbearable. I'm just going to have to disappear somewhere.
Right, gotta get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like I say, the last thing I wanted was someone to come and stay in my space after I've been away for a week on a holiday, which is enough for me. Like, I don't really want to leave my space.
Yep.
Wasn't my idea to go on a holiday. no problem. Went on a holiday. Nice enough, but not my space. I get back, I'm crook as a dog all week. And
Yeah.
then she comes over to stay for days. I'm like, that was enough.
Yeah. I didn't realise you'd gone away. I thought you'd just taken a week off.
No, we went down to a place called O'Reilly's, which is in the Gold Coast hinterland,
Oh, right.
and it's up at like 1,000 meters. Like it's right
Oh, okay.
top of the Lamington National Park. It's right in the middle of it.
Right.
There's something like 170 waterfalls within walking distance or hiking distance.
Good grief.
So we went and stayed there for Monday to Friday.
You took
Got back. Sorry?
You took Bilbo down there, or just went in the family car?
No, just a normal car. It's a pretty hairy, not hairy, but like pretty slow, curvy, cut back, single road up the hill.
Right.
But it's all paved and stuff, so you only need a normal car, it's not four-wheel drive or anything.
Okay. So it's a well-developed sort of a place.
Yeah, it's got like camping area, but it's also got like full resort things. So it's got like like rooms, and then it's got chalet / bungalow things.
Right.
And a little convention centre, spas, pools. It's got like bird walks,
Okay.
snake shows, and stuff like that.
I mean, it sounds wonderful, but as you say, it's not your space. I think there's a little bit that Joe doesn't get that either. So she was making noises about going away for a week before the end of the year. And I'm like, I don't want to. She's like, why? And I'm like, because I don't want to, because this is my space. So
Yeah, I'm like that a bit too, man. Like, this was a really nice place to stay. It was lovely. But if it was my choice, I'd be at home.
I think we spend so much time and effort making these areas that we exist in the best possible places they can be, that going away just seems counterproductive.
And I've just got things I like doing, and most of those are in and around my area, so...
Yeah, I get that. I really do. That's why I've been so frustrated about this workshop, because that's one of the areas I want set up, and I want it set up in a way that I just go out and use it for what I need to do. Like, I've got the laser cutter set up now in the garage, but it's just not ideal. You know, I've got to climb over stuff to get at it. You know?
Yeah, and you don't have like your proper bench space probably set up, so you got your wood there ready. You can take stuff off. You can work with it. You know, it's just sitting on the edge of something makeshift at the moment.
That's right. Well, it's sitting on a crate, but
yeah. I know exactly how that is.
Yeah.
It's shit.
And you've got to move stuff, constantly move stuff backwards and forwards in order to be able to get at anything. So,
Yeah. Are you closer? It's just waiting now?
It's all here. Like, all the steel's here.
Yeah, you just got to wait to get that here.
Well,
The
not,
son-in-law to get time to set it up or something?
well,
or not?
no, the government just shut construction down for 2 weeks. It's $100,000 fine. If he turns up and actually builds it and somebody complains, it's $100,000 fine. So now we're back to waiting for COVID again.
Oh, far out.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had a bit of bottom lip and all that kind of stuff, and made noises about going out there and building the bloody thing myself. But at the end of the day, he's got to get some equipment in, because we've got to do some reprofiling, and cut and a fill got to get done, and you know, it's just like, let's just wait. It'll be another month probably before it happens, because he's got other jobs that have gone on hold too, and he's actually got to move house because he sold the house that he's in, and he's got to move out. He's got to move somewhere else, and got another house that he's just bought. He's got to settle on that and move into that, and so my bloody workshop won't be at the top of the list, that's for sure.
I cannot wait till I get a shed.
What's happening with that? Did you decide whether you were doing that or the pool?
I think Rach wants the pool.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, look, doesn't bother me too much. If I have a pool that keeps all of them quiet, that's 3 out with 1 shot.
That's a lot of birds with 1 stone.
A lot of birds with 1 stone, so that is fine by me. And it's not like I won't be in there too. It'll be quite nice. But I still would like a shed.
Yeah.
Again, if it was me, I would just buy a shed and not even have
Well, these are the things.
In fact, I would put the shed where the pool's going, so a friend up here just bought a house, a property down the road.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wouldn't buy where he's bought. It's out, what is it? East of Gympie.
Right.
East of Gympie. And he's got 35 acres. And his shed is bigger than my house. It's probably twice the size of my house.
Wow.
Yeah, it's excellent. And it's all pole and
Yeah, right.
beams. Like
Yeah.
it's all just trunks, tree trunks. The whole thing. It's huge. It's an old stable thing.
Yeah, right.
So there's a whole bunch of more stable parts on one side, and then they had all their other whatever that they had to work with in there. But in the middle of the shed's a bar, and they've converted a bit of the upstairs area, and so it's a second story in one part of it that's quite large. In fact, the second story area is probably the same size as one of my levels in my house, the bottom level of my house.
That sounds epic.
Yeah. Yeah, an amazing man cave.
So
Take a
those,
little bit of work to fix it up.
yeah.
Like it's not like 100% at the moment. Some tin and stuff to do with glove.
Yep.
But the construction itself is solid as hell.
Actually sounds like the kind of thing that would be absolutely miserable in Victoria, because the thing would constantly be either
It would be horrible. It'd be so cold.
way too cold or it'd be way too hot.
Yeah, look, even here it'd be pretty hot, I reckon. Especially out there. I don't know if there's any insulation in it or not.
Hard to imagine.
Yeah, I think it was actually at some stage it was built for a working racehorse trainer. It looks like.
Yeah, right.
So they have that, like one of those, or a couple of those circular areas.
Yep.
They've got all sorts of stuff like that.
Actually know what they called, I just can't think of it. You haven't gone to sleep on us, Matty, have you? Ooh, maybe he has. and I saw that thing you posted Thursday about I'm not going to make it to retro in a conversation with Ollie. I'm like,
What's that,
oh.
sorry.
Well, you were saying Thursday that
Yeah.
you weren't going to make it to the retro because you were in a meeting with Ollie. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, I can't remember. I did have a bit of a ming at him about something though.
Fair enough. That's what he's there for.
Can't remember. Yeah. Can't remember. He buzzed me about something, but didn't actually ask me about it in the end. He just talked about other stuff.
Oh yeah.
He does that a bit.
Yep. A bit.
Yeah.
It's constant.
Yeah.
Distraction
Just
after
gets so
distraction after
sidetracked.
distraction.
Yeah. Just so sidetracked.
So if you do decide to rage quit, let me know, because, man, I'm going to need your expertise in the next 12 months.
Sorry, cut out. You're gonna. Gee, I can't get it. It cuts in and out sometimes when you talk.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's
I don't know,
my
it's just-
bandwidth.
I don't know if it sounds like it could be even more like a. Maybe it is a bandwidth thing. Yeah, didn't someone else cut out just before? Maybe it's Discord.
James was really choppy today.
Yeah. So that happens sometimes with you too.
Mm.
Sorry, so if I quit, you really need what? Sorry.
I need your expertise in the next 12 months. So, yeah.
For Bond next.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not rage quitting, man. I have a mortgage and a bloody CSA bill
And a pool.
and a pool. And the pool's just gone up at least 20% since COVID.
Yep.
We had a quote 12 months ago and it's gone up 20%. We had 2 quotes and they've both gone up 20%.
Yeah, it's not good. Lots of stuff's gone up.
Yeah, to be expected.
Yeah.
I've heard it's the same for buildings as well. The price of wood's gone up, not 20%, but something like 200 or 300%.
Yep. Steel's the same.
Well, it won't be for long. Have you been following what's happening in China?
No.
The company with the biggest debt in the world is possibly about to go under.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have 300 billion in debt,
Right.
and they can't make the payments on it.
What do they do?
Property.
Oh, right.
So there's your hence why the price of steel has gone down by 40. You know, it's 40% of what it was. So I think it was about 220, 240 or whatever they sell it by.
Right, okay.
Whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah. Unit.
Great, a unit, right? And now I think it's down to about 100.
Right.
So there's your mining boom. Well, if these guys crash, it'll go even further because this company, it'll reverberate through the entire Chinese property market, possibly the entire Chinese economy,
Right.
then possibly even globally.
Right.
So think GFC, but starting with China now.
Mm.
So this is the same sorts of thing, the whole subprime and stuff like that.
Oh, again, but this time in China, not in America.
It's not the same, but it's very similar, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, in China, so they missed their first payments on one of their debts Thursday, I think. They've got a grace period, but you know, if they're going to make it or not, everyone's just holding their breath.
Yeah, fair enough. Add that to the list of disasters.
Yeah, of epic proportions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I can't remember now if it was 12.5 or 25%. It might be 12.5. I think the Chinese property market is 12.5% of the economy.
Right.
So it's quite even at 12.5, if it's not 25, at 12.5% of the economy, that's quite a big chunk of your economy.
It is.
And apparently there's a few others that are in similar risky positions as well. That have a combined total maybe more debt than these guys. About 10 of them.
Right.
So, you know, these guys, we're just sitting in uncharted territory, yeah?
Yeah.
They're like, no one really knows what the Chinese government's going to do. No one knows what's going to happen, whether they're going to make it. They kind of forecast they can't sell. They can't go into a fire sale of assets because of new regulations in the property market that Beijing have introduced.
Right.
They can't even offload all their assets to get cash.
Right.
So might be a good time to buy steel in a couple of months.
Yeah, maybe. Oh.
So who's holding these debts?
Who's holding them?
Yeah, like, are they internal to China or are they global?
No, they're not. They're global. And there was even some discussion about whether or not they're going to let the international ones default or not, you know, because defaulting on the internal ones versus the international ones is obviously different from an investment point of view for
it's
do they
probably
wanna
all
shit on
another
their own-
plot.
Yeah, do they want to shit on their own Chinese people, or do they want to shit on the entire world, huh?
I think they'll take on the entire world and win again.
But yeah, it looks like it's a pretty shitty little situation they got brewing over there.
When do they not have one of those?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to order those posthumans when I get off this call, because
Most humans.
I might be in danger of not getting them.
Yeah.
Sod your post-humans, what about your battle tech?
I'm in danger of not getting that either. Thanks for the reminder. I'll just start crying now. Come on, Aetherworks, please. 3 weeks now. 3 weeks ago they were supposed to have started delivering or shipping. Mind you, even if they dropped them into the local postal service, probably still be 3 weeks away.
Is this from that Kickstarter, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So this is stuff I paid for in August of 2019. And it is supposedly in the country.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
Cow.
It's Kickstarters like that that ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah. I've had a few that have gone very, very, very slowly. And some that even went bankrupt.
Mm.
But I had some good ones too. Cool miniature or not, they're pretty good. They're reliable. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you know, to be fair to Catalyst, Like, once they hand it over to Etherworks for distribution, it's not really their problem anymore. It's Etherworks' problem. And it may well be that Etherworks being in the middle of Sydney is suffering because of Sydney's COVID situation. You just don't know. Nobody's communicating.
But that is something that they could do.
Communicate? Yeah, absolutely. That's just the point. It's just like, tell people what's going on, you know. If there's another delay, and you tell me that there's another delay, and you tell me why there's another delay, I'm cool with it. But if you don't tell me anything, I'm free to sit here and speculate.
What if they told you the delay was because someone made off with all their shipment and decided to keep them for themselves?
Well, then I'd be asking for a refund.
Yes, but what would your level of disappointment be?
Yeah, it'd probably be the teeth gnashing stage, that's for sure.
So you can ask for your refund and then take that money and go to the dentist.
Mm-hmm.
And come out ahead still, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would ever consider going to the dentist as coming out ahead of anything.
Still probably cheaper than 40k.
It's still probably cheaper than 40k. Speaking of which, I've got a Valkyrie in the post that has just disappeared.
You're kidding.
It was last scanned on the 8th of September.
Shit. In New South Wales?
Yep, somewhere.
Customs are taking their time to get stuff out at the moment.
Oh, this was internal. This was purchased from an internal retailer, so
Yeah.
one organisation to look at as far as where that could be. That stuff keeps turning up, you know, the bits and pieces that I ordered from the US a few weeks ago, that's turned up faster than the internal stuff.
That is a damning indictment of the entire situation.
Mm-hmm. And I need some more to throw out. Apparently my hands are in the way. I do apologise.
Oh, that was ages ago. You've shifted a little bit to your right since then.
Right.
Whole world has
Shifted to the right.
Yeah.
It certainly has.
I thought we weren't going to get political.
Hey, I was at the optometrist, getting set up for a couple new pairs of glasses, and we're talking about the self-tinting because I like mine to self-tint. And she says, "Now you understand that these will transition to grey." And I said, "Well, that's okay. That's what I'm doing." And she kept going with her spiel and then sort of stopped about 15 seconds later. And there was this nervous little chuckle, and then she kept going. It was an amazing display of professionalism.
I'm sorry you couldn't hear me chuckling at that.
I was tickled by it. I met the new senior developer in the IDC the other day, Clee. He was proudly telling me about how he had 12 years industry experience and how he knew all this stuff. And I just calmly said, "Well, I've got I've got 30 years experience, which means I've made 18 more years worth of mistakes than you have.
Hello?
Yeah,
I think you said you've made 18 more years of mistakes.
that's right.
Yes, cut out. Yeah, I did see the email about him, and I was somewhat optimistic given the resume.
Yeah. But
Did you meet him?
yeah, like I've met him, yeah. But you know that these things are talked up. You know that his ability's been inflated and whatever.
Yeah.
He might be a good guy, but it's only time will tell. So I need to dry brush these. There's something definitely wrong with this.
They're looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him a lot more than the plain white. Grey is a good colour for space.
It is, but they'll get successive dry brushes to bring the edge highlights back up again. So like I did the edge highlights on this thing, they have to be a little bit more deliberate because of the size of the panels. But, these will just get I've got to I'll probably use Imric for the blue. So I'm tempted to use that one. It might give a better edge.
So those dries can be alright if they're not a dried out paint.
Yeah,
Because the ones I got were just dried out.
yeah. If they're a rubber ball, they're useless. Yeah. So no, I've actually got some good value out of them, like that. Just trying to think what I used. No, I used a paint for that. But the last set I painted. This stuff is actually really, really good.
Oh yeah.
I've used a lot of that. Primarily terrain though, like you know all of that 40k terrain. You know, you spray it silver, wash it brown, and then dry brush it with the riser rust everywhere. It actually really looks really good.
There you go.
Oh, I missed a bit. Don't you hate that?
Yeah. I did buy a new rust effect actually the other day.
Yeah, right.
Thought I'd give it a go when it's Mighty Ape.
Yeah?
The Vallejo, it's part of their mecha weathering. You know, they've got a new mecha range which has got a whole bunch of bright colours and everything else.
Yep.
Anyway, they've got also, as part of that mecha range, they've got a weathering group obviously, and this rust texture, so...
Have you seen the primers? The mecha primers?
I haven't seen them, no. But I've heard that the... I think there's metallics in that mecha range.
Yep.
Airbrush metallics even. And that they're the bee's knees.
Did you see Army Paint has just released an entire airbrush range? And everybody knows about the Two Thin Coats Kickstarter by now, presumably.
No.
Oh, okay.
So?
You know who Duncan Rhodes is?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's just released a paint range under the sort of
Oh my god.
the marketing banner of 2 thin coats.
Oh right, okay.
Kickstarter funded in 15 minutes and it's gone over $1 million US for 60 paint colours.
There you go.
So that's what we need. We need a figurehead. We need somebody attractive to do our marketing. Well,
Just tilt that camera up a little bit, Dan.
no.
That's good.
No. There are some crimes that shouldn't be committed, Matty.
Why did his thing get funded in 15 minutes and it's over $1 million? Like, are people that desperate for a new paint range?
Apparently.
Like, there are so many good ones out there. Like you said, Army Painter, P3, Vallejo. They're all top quality paint.
So without showing you the branding on that is exactly the same pigment and exactly the same paint product that's going into that 2 thin coats paint range. And I know this because it's being mixed in the same factory that the bottle that I just showed you was mixed in.
There you go.
So
funded in 15 minutes because of the name.
That's right.
Because people are gagging for a new paint range.
Well, no, just because this guy can paint and he does painting tutorials on YouTube, and I mean, he has a beautiful educational style. Like, I like watching his videos. They're really nice to watch. They're friendly, they're inviting, they're informative, they're clear, the production quality is beautiful. But I mean, this guy's been the face of Games Workshop for, 10 years or 12 years or something like that. And so it's a flow on from that. People know him from the fact that he's been involved in promoting the Games Workshop product. So he's a familiar, happy sight. Therefore, they've invested parts of themselves in it, and now they've invested their money in the paint range. It's just a pure marketing exercise, nothing more. It's not a superior product to any of the other paint ranges that are out there, because it's exactly the same paint.
Actually, to be honest, why I just stick with Vallejo. It's might not be the best. It's good enough for me, and I can get it almost anywhere I need.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas if I want to get, like, I would definitely like to try some other things because there are some areas where I think they lack, but it's so hard to get them.
Yep.
Like, they're so niche. Some of those other ones.
Yep. Army Painter have released 2 products in the last couple of months that I would really like. They've done a flesh shading set, which I think has got 12 different paints in it, which stack and combine to do really good flesh effects. So I want that one. And the other one is that airbrush set, a complete set of 180 something, 160 something paints for airbrush, including all the metallics and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I've got the Vallejo airbrush stuff and I struggle with it. Like,
yeah, I don't. The Vallejo airbrush stuff is useless. I'd rather just their normal paints than I get them down.
Yeah, I actually use their airbrush stuff as normal paints because I'm using them as washes or semi-washes. Because, like, I'm frustrated that if I get 2 sprays out of an airbrush and I'm going to tear the airbrush down and clean it because it's clogged, I can't deal with that, and I don't seem to be able to find any kind of rhyme or reason to get it thinned or flow improved or whatever to be predictable. You know, that's the thing that really annoys me about them is they're unpredictable. If they were the same quirks all the time, they'd be fine. Go on.
Yeah, you know what that tells me? Because I had the same issue. It's, I reckon it's the pigments, man.
Yeah.
Some of the pigments have reactions or have different properties.
Yeah.
And they just make it harder to spray.
Yeah.
And obviously, if the paints you're using have more of those pigments, then you get that more unpredictable behaviour, because there are some paints with Vallejo stuff that just work like a charm.
Yes.
I water it down
Yep.
with the thinners. I put a little bit, or actually, to be honest, I actually generally put a good amount of low improver, and they just work like a charm. And I could contain a bucket after bucket.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that, no matter what I do, just clog the thing up.
Yep. Yeah, same.
So there might be, and all the companies having different pigments or different methods for those colours might have more predictable results.
This one, I have never successfully sprayed with that colour. Never.
Yeah, right.
So I just use it as a hand brush thing now.
Yep. Yeah, it's the same with my the tan primers from Vallejo, or any of the really light primers apart from white. I had to revert back to using only white as a primer.
This thing is absolute gold. I don't know. It just works for me. But
there you go. Mine doesn't.
Yeah, there you go.
My desert tan doesn't.
Yeah. So I don't know. More experimentation required, but yeah, like I'd love to get all of that army painter, like that complete set. I'd like that complete set, but there isn't a retailer in Australia yet that has advertised that they're getting them, and Army Painter won't sell direct to Australia because they've got local retailers. It's just annoying. But if
I've got to go pick these kids up.
Right. If I want 2 thin coats, I could get 2 thin coats.
Oh God.
Yep.
Marketing, huh?
And that's all it is. It's just marketing.
Yeah.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Oh, well, I'm going to do some more painting, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Get these guys close to knocked over. See if I can finish them by Monday, by the weekend.
Yeah. By Tuesday morning.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Tuesday mid-morning. Cool, man. I'll catch you.
Thanks, Clay. I'll talk to you Tuesday. See ya.
Yeah, have a good one.
What am I doing, Matty?
Having a good chat.
Having a good chat.
So these Calistonians, are these new models?
Well, they were. These 10 designs were part of the first 20 designs that were going in the box set in the Kickstarter. So from that perspective, they're not new designs, but they're all in the same way that I redid the.
They got another pass.
Yeah,
Detail pass.
they've had another detail pass done to them. So.
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't remember seeing them before because I think you've mostly been doing the Terrans to this point.
I did paint one of these in the smaller scale with a less detail back in a live stream some months ago.
They do look distinctly different from the Terrans, which is good.
Yeah.
That was something I was a little bit worried about.
But they were all going to look a bit samey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. plenty of people have expressed that fear.
Well, I think that fear can be laid to rest.
There is a great deal of homage to the Renegade Legion product in these fighters.
Which is fair, that's what some people want.
Yeah. Some people are not going to like my interpretation. That's okay too.
Big deep breath before biting my tongue.
What do you think of that? That's each highlighted that nicely, don't you think?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it does look very nice.
Is it just us now?
Yep.
A couple of bots, no doubt.
A pair of them.
2x2 bots of blue.
I'm really disappointed that Firefly MMO never materialized after the decade it's been promised for.
Oh, really? I didn't know that they had promised one.
Yeah, for about a decade.
That would have been brilliant.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Every year they trot out the, oh, we're gonna do more Serenity, more Firefly. It's like, always happens on April the 1st. Given that at least one of the cast members has passed on, I think that'll remain a pipe dream.
And another one of the cast members has gone on to Megastar.
Yes. That always seemed likely, to be fair.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Your plans for the rest of the weekend?
Now that I've got my boots out of the way, and my laundry is hanging up, I was called away for a few minutes there when you were asking if I had fallen asleep. I was actually outside listening to the stream through my phone.
Right, okay.
While I was hanging up my laundry. Now that I've got all that done, today I'm going to wait for my primer to dry a little bit on my Knights of the Cleansing Dark.
Nice.
They're beautiful. I mean, Knights of the Cleansing Dark is really, really what made me buy a stack in the first place.
Right.
Both the mounted and the foot variants are frickin' cool.
I must get some of those.
They're very nice. I like that sort of big, heavy, two-hander, full plate mail.
Yeah, right.
The big, ruffly plumes. It looks really, really nice. And so probably this hour I'm going to slap some paint on them and then think about tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow? Oh. Duh.
Just because Max is busy doesn't mean we can't continue onwards.
Right. We'll just have
Then
to...
I should probably say something to that effect as well, privately.
Post in the group. I haven't been keeping up, to be honest.
Neither's anyone else. In fact, I'm going to do that now. What time did we start? Was it 8 for us?
It was 8 for us, yeah.
Having to calculate time zones. Jeez.
Yep.
I just found the previous message. It actually said 9 AM for us.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys on daylight savings?
Nope.
No. Thank God for that. One less time zone to calculate. So yeah, Knights of the Cleansing Dark, they look really, really cool. And I thought, yeah, that's what's going to make me go with that.
Right.
Well, to start off with anyway, now that I've looked at some of the other figure range. Because I don't know if you remember, but when I first started talking to you about Demon World and what I wanted to get, I was really looking at the Thane. Because I like, well, Scotsman kilts and the animal motif as well is pretty cool. And I thought, yeah, Thane might be for me. But then I saw the Knights of the Cleansing Dark in the Isthac range, and I'm like, ooh, I need to take a close look at these guys. Yep. Never mind the Ice Witches. I mean, I've ordered none of those so far.
Mm-hmm.
Knights of the Cleansing Dark.
And I went the other way. I got the Ice Witches, but not the Knights. So.
I don't know how it's justified in the lore, but the leader model for the Foot Cleansing Dark Knights is wearing a beastman's head as a shoulder pauldron and partial cape.
I don't think the rules go to that depth of...
No, but the fluff might.
Well, we've retired all the second and third edition fluff, so it can be whatever you would like it to be. Make some suggestions.
NKVD commissars.
Perhaps not.
It would make sense. Don't know what I'm going to do Sunday either. I might, well, I'll probably still be painting those figures, so...
I was going to say, sit in the garden with a good book.
Do I have a good book, and I do like sitting in the garden.
Oh.
Actually, it is a really nice day out today. I think I might do that. Up until noon. Just get nice and sunburned.
Well, I can't recommend the sunburn, but sitting in the yard for sure.
Well, it's Queensland, you know. We always get sunburn.
They do what Clee does and wear a wide-brimmed hat. Which doesn't save him from bat shit, but, you know.
Yeah, well, when he was talking about that, I was thinking maybe a Dryzerbone coat would help. But then I remember what
You're in
You know,
Queensland.
that guano does to varnish timbers. Probably eat right through the coat.
Ah, that's not good. That is not good. That is not good. That is not good. That's my bad for attempting to do a dry brush with a brush, white with a brush that I've just used for a different colour. Pick a different brush. Blocking the camera.
So how are those triangular handled brushes you got the other week?
No,
working out for you?
I like them. I like them.
Are they more comfortable to your aging hands?
Can't say as I've noticed a difference.
I was just wondering because when I was doing the private last night, my left hand in particular was cramping up a bit, just trying to hold the handle. I'm thinking, oh, this isn't good.
See how that one's full of orange? I use that with white, I'll end up with orange.
Mm.
Yeah, I have another small dry brush in here somewhere. I've got a big one and a medium one, but not a small one. Wouldn't that rip your 90?
Who wears 90s?
Not me. We see how this goes. No signing of tufts.
Still being manufactured, according to my last update.
Okay.
Which is fair. I mean, they're a quality handmade item.
They are.
Thanks for putting me onto them, by the way.
Everybody should use Leadbear's tufts. Everybody. They are a very, very good item. And you get to support a local business.
I like that very much. Now I just need a local business who makes flocking.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly I've had to get all my static grass and stuff from overseas, which is working out a camera shot again.
Out of one of the cameras. You'd probably be alright if you rotated the one that provides the larger image. Oh, you know, a millimeter or two to its left.
Like that?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, perfect. Those aren't little white flecks of paint on the cockpit. They're space bugs that have gone smush.
Some days you're the space bug, some days you're the cockpit.
For my 8th birthday, I received a greeting card. It had a joke on the front and the answer on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
What's the last thing that goes through a fly's mind as it hits your windscreen at 100 kilometers an hour?
Well, it's backside. Why?
Well, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the joke.
That's pretty funny for an 8-year-old. It's very funny.
It was extremely funny for an 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm. It's actually funny for a 51-year-old, but never mind. I'm not
The
noted.
joke on the card for my 9th birthday was a little different and a little similar at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between roast beef and pea soup?
I don't know that I'm going to be able to guess this.
You can roast beef, but you can't pea soup.
Oh, okay. They're well and truly into 8 and 9-year-old boy territory, those jokes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear my favouriteest joke of all time?
Sure. If you don't mind it being recorded.
I don't. I've told it frequently and often.
Mm-hmm.
That's one much same as the other, isn't it? What did the farmer say to the cow standing on the roof?
Go on.
Moo.
Yep.
So what? Yep.
Simple as effective. I like
Yeah,
how
I'm
that
a
you
big
can,
fan of dad jokes.
like how that you can see the panel lines. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it were me, I would have done them with a very fine grey felt tip, but just doing them with the shade is so much quicker and easier.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about that Vallejo Mecha paint range.
Mhm.
I saw some of that being advertised. I can't figure out what the point of it is.
The point is
Like,
that
yeah, okay, I get that they want to sell paint to a new potential client base, but all those mecha kits come with paint instructions already, and they're not for Vallejo.
no. They'll be Gunzi, probably.
Yep.
Well, this is Vallejo's way of saying, hey, we produce stuff that's every bit as good as Gunzi.
But it'll only be white Westerners that ever get into it, because the Japanese will never touch it, I'm sure.
Well, I don't know. You could be right. Don't have any problem with Gunzi either. I thought it was good stuff.
Oh, it is. Just needs a bit of thinner. Or a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very attractive. All the panel lines. There's tons of detail on these now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who complains about not enough detail is blind.
Oh.
Going forward, I mean.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion for the future of Interceptor?
You may.
Have a table-ready painting guide in there with some basic step-by-steps.
Actually, that is a damn fine suggestion.
Because as you're proving here, it doesn't take a huge, expensive setup to... You just need a couple of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to go super fancy, you can. But if you just want table ready, then you can do this.
Mm-hmm. Like
Start white,
that.
throw some blue on the wings, or yellow, or whatever color you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
Throw on a little bit of shading, highlight, etc.
That's a very good idea,
Very
mate.
nice. You've got, what, 4 steps on that one, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Effectively, you've got 4 steps on those ones, and they look beautiful. More than table ready.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't mean to create more writing work for you, but...
No, but that's actually extremely good suggestion. So what I can do is, when I'm doing the second set of these, I'll do them off camera. I'll just, as the stages progress, I'll just take detailed photos of them. Last one. And that'll be us. But they're effectively done.
I know, 4 steps. It's
Yeah.
great.
I might do a little bit of cockpit. The little metallic-y sort of, or the white stripes across the cockpit.
Yes, but to borrow some parlance from that other large company,
Mm-hmm.
that would be moving from table ready to parade ready.
Right. That's okay. I really enjoy the pattern in front of the cockpit on that. I reckon there's some opportunity for
pretty cool.
some additional detail in there with different coloured paint or something.
Well, there's a big chevron right in the middle of it that you could just, something different.
Fill in with a different colour. Thought about some decals for these. I'll keep thinking about that, see what pops out of my head. And there we go. Right. Never going to get them all into shot in the one go.
Well, they're in shot for one of the cameras.
What about if I do that? Don't know if you can really see them all that much in that image. Alright, we'll call it there. Finish those off today and start playtesting again on Monday. As ever, thanks Matty, it's been a good session. Thoroughly enjoyed myself.
It's been very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Dan.
Last couple have been great. But it is definitely time for breakfast. So, thanks for watching, folks. I'll catch you next week.